In the 14th century, while Europe was struggling through instability and economic hardship, while kingdoms were fighting wars over land and silver, there was a man in West Africa whose wealth was so vast that modern economists still struggle to calculate it. His name was Mansa Musa. This is not a myth, it's not a legend, it's a real, true life story. He is a real emperor, and his gold was so abundant that when he traveled across continents, he changed entire economies. But to understand Mansa Musa, you must first understand the empire that made him possible, the Mali Empire. Before we continue, please subscribe, like, and share this video. Hit the notification bell icon to always know when we post videos like this. We promise bringing you value, so engage with our content. Thank you. The Mali Empire was not a small tribal kingdom. It was one of the most powerful and sophisticated empires of its time. At its peak in the 14th century, it stretched across modern-day Mali, Senegal, Gambia, Guinea, Niger, and also some parts of Nigeria. It controlled trade routes that connected West Africa to North Africa and Middle East. But its real power was gold. West Africa at that time produced nearly half of the world's known gold supply, and the Mali Empire controlled the richest gold mines in the region, particularly around Bambouk and Bure. Gold was not just wealth, it was global influence. Mansa Musa became emperor in 1312, but here is something that's fascinating. He did not initially expect to become king. The previous ruler, Abu Bakr II, reportedly set sail with a massive fleet into the Atlantic Ocean, attempting to explore what lay beyond, but he never returned. When this happened, Mansa Musa, who was serving as his deputy, inherited the throne. Imagine that moment. You are suddenly emperor of one of the world's wealthiest regions on earth. Most rulers would consolidate power quietly, but Mansa Musa expanded it. Mansa Musa was not just rich, he was organized. His empire operated through provincial governors, tax system, military oversight, and trade regulations. He ensured loyalty through administration and military strength. The empire taxed trade caravans crossing the Sahara, salt from the north, gold from the south, ivory, textiles, spices. Every caravan passing through Mali contributed to the empire's treasury. And Musa understood something powerful: control trade, control wealth. Here is a detail many don't know. Mansa Musa did not allow gold nuggets to circulate freely. Large gold nuggets were considered property of the emperor. Only gold dust was widely used for trade. Why? Because of supply control. By controlling large quantities, he maintained value. This is economic intelligence centuries before modern monetary systems used. He centralized wealth. He regulated distributions. He understood market influence long before economic textbooks existed. Now, let's talk about his pilgrimage to Mecca, the journey that shook the world and changed economies. In 1324, Mansa Musa decided to perform Hajj, the Islamic pilgrimage to Mecca. This was not a small religious trip. This was a 4,000-mile journey across the Sahara Desert. What made it historic was the scale. The historical records describe that 60,000 men in procession, 120,000 personal attendants, hundreds of camels, each carrying up to 300 pounds of gold. Imagine the sight: an emperor crossing the desert with rivers of gold. He passed through Cairo in Egypt. He distributed gold generously to the poor, to officials, to merchants. He gave so much that it caused inflation. Gold prices dropped. The economy destabilized temporarily because of oversupply. Think about that. One man, one journey, altering an entire regional economy. That is wealth at a scale almost unimaginable. When he met the Sultan of Egypt, he initially refused to bow, a sign of confidence and imperial pride. He was persuaded diplomatically. But even in that moment, he demonstrated that Mali was not a minor kingdom. It was an equal power. His generosity became legendary, but historians note something interesting. On his return journey, he reportedly borrowed gold in Cairo to stabilize economic imbalance caused by his earlier spending. This shows economic awareness. He didn't just give wealth blindly, he understood market correction. After returning from Mecca, Mansa Musa invested heavily in education and architecture. He transformed Timbuktu into a global center of learning. He built mosques, libraries, and schools. The most famous mosque, the Ngureba Mosque, became a symbol of architectural brilliance. Timbuktu attracted scholars from North Africa, the Middle East, and across the Islamic Ocean. It became a center of mathematics, astronomy, law, theology. Mansa Musa understood something many rulers miss. Wealth without knowledge fades. So he built intellectual infrastructure. He expanded Mali's border further. He strengthened trade alliance. He secured key cities like Gao. He integrated different ethnic groups into one administrative system. He ruled not just through gold, but through organization. Now, let's estimate how rich he was really. Modern attempts to calculate his wealth suggest it may be impossible. Some historians estimate that if adjusted to today's value, his wealth would surpass modern billionaires. But the number is not the real story. The real story is control. He controlled production, he controlled trade routes, he controlled distributions. That is the real wealth. Here are some moral lessons that one can learn from the story of Mansa Musa. Wealth is built on control of valuable resources. Infrastructure multiplies riches. Global visibility increases influence. Knowledge sustains empires. Generosity without strategy can destabilize markets. After Mansa Musa's death, what became of the empire? After Mansa Musa died in 1337, the empire slowly weakened. Successor lacked his discipline. Those who came after him were not disciplined enough like him. Territories fragmented. External pressure increased. This teaches another lesson. Wealth must be sustained by structure, not personality alone. Mansa Musa was not just the richest man who ever lived. He was proof that Africa once stood at the center of gold wealth. He demonstrated vision, scale, influence, intellectual investments, and his story reminds us that wealth is not accidental, it is structured, it is controlled, it is expanded deliberately. If you enjoyed this deep dive into financial history, like this video, share it, and subscribe for more powerful stories about money, empires, wealth creation, financial management, and entrepreneurship. Because history does not just tell stories, it teaches strategy.